The veil didn't just tear, it revealed something. Because at the exact moment Jesus died, the one place people believed God's presence dwelled in a unique way was suddenly opened. Not gently, not quietly, but decisively. We've been told this is a victory moment, access granted, distance removed. And that's true. But what if the tearing of the veil wasn't only an invitation? What if it was also a revelation? Because something about that veil, something deeply meaningful, reached its fulfillment at the cross. And the question is, why? The temple wasn't just a building, it was where heaven and earth met in a special, covenantal way. It represented order, holiness, God's design for approaching Him. If you wanted to draw near to God, you knew where to go, step by step, layer by layer, until finally, the veil, thick, sacred, set apart, not just a curtain, but a boundary God Himself had established. Behind it, the most holy place, the place uniquely associated with His presence. And for generations, people honored that boundary with reverence. At first, the veil makes complete sense. A holy God, a broken humanity. Of course, there would be distance. Of course, approaching Him would be intentional, careful, set apart. And that wasn't wrong. It was God's design for a season. But over time, something subtle could happen. What began as reverence could slowly become a kind of distance people simply accepted. Not because God desired separation, but because the system pointed to something greater that was still to come. It's easy to assume the system was the final goal, that every boundary, every layer, every restriction was the complete picture. But Scripture consistently points to something deeper. The structure was real, sacred, given by God. But it was also pointing forward, a shadow of something greater. As described in the book of Hebrews, these things were never the end. They were preparation. Because God has always desired more than careful distance. He desires relationship. Then Jesus dies, and everything holds its breath. The sky darkens, the earth trembles, and inside the temple, something happens no human planned. The veil tears, not slowly, not symbolically, but suddenly, from the top to the bottom. And in that moment, the most restricted place on earth is no longer restricted, not because people force their way in, but because God made a way. So here's the question most people never stop to ask. If God is the one who established the veil, why is He now the one who tears it? People often imagine something dramatic bursting out from behind the veil. Light, fire, overwhelming glory. But Scripture stays quiet about any visible display, and that silence matters. Because the point wasn't that God suddenly appeared, and it wasn't that He had been absent, it was this. God was never meant to be approached only through a place, but ultimately through a person. The veil wasn't wrong, but it was never meant to be final. So what changed? Not God, and not His holiness. What changed was how access to Him would now be given. At the exact moment the veil was torn, Jesus had just given His life, and everything the temple pointed toward was now fulfilled in Him. As Jesus Himself declared in Gospel of John 14:6, He is the way, not one of many ways, not a better system, but the fulfillment of everything that came before. The veil didn't represent a mistake, it represented a promise. And at the cross, that promise was completed. So the tearing of the veil wasn't just about closeness, it was about completion. God didn't discard what He had established. He fulfilled it, perfectly, publicly, decisively, from the top down. Because the greatest misunderstanding was never that people couldn't reach God. It's that we often settle for what points to Him, instead of responding to Him directly. And in one moment, God made it unmistakably clear. The way is no longer hidden. And this is where it becomes personal, because we may not stand in a temple, but we still build patterns, ways of thinking, expectations about how God works, where He is, how He moves, what it means to be close to Him. And those things can be helpful until they quietly become the thing we rely on, instead of Him. So don't rush past this moment. Sit with it. And ask yourself honestly, am I trusting God or just what I've understood about Him? Because if we're honest, it's easier to hold on to what feels familiar than to fully surrender to someone we can't control. And most of us have been there quietly. And if you're willing, not perfectly, just honestly, pray this quietly.
God, if I've been holding on to what was meant to point me to you, instead of fully trusting you, lead me deeper, show me what is true, and help me follow you fully.
Before you scroll, I want to ask you something you might not have thought about before. When the veil was torn, what do you think actually changed for you? Not in theory, not what you've been taught, but in your real, everyday walk with God. Do you feel closer, or do you still feel like there's something in the way? Be honest. I'm reading every response. This is one verse only, one truth, seen clearly, changes everything.